Oh, this is wicked. Oh. Drake has been sued. Yes, again. And this one can only be described as a doozy. This is Gabriele Galimberti, an award winning, world renowned photographer whose work has been featured in National Geographic and major exhibitions and publications around the world. The heart of the lawsuit is the allegation that a scene in Drake's video for What Did I Miss reproduces Galimberti's photograph from the AMERIGUNS, a project consisting of 40 portraits of American gun owners. Galimberti's style is distinct. He photographs individuals with their personal objects arranged around them with precise geometric order. According to the complaint, Drake's video recreates this arrangement nearly point for point. The filing lists each visual component individually and describes the cumulative impression of a scene that mirrors the original photograph. In order to understand why Galimberti is suing Drake, OVO Sound, and UMG, we have to go back to 2022, when the photographer did some work for the Spanish luxury fashion house, Balenciaga. In November of that year, Balenciaga launched an online promotion called the Gift Shop campaign that showed 6 children holding teddy bears dressed in bondage style outfits, surrounded by empty wine and champagne glasses. Galimberti stated that these images were connected to his ongoing Toy Stories series, where he took pictures of children with their toys. Galimberti was tormented in the press and on social media for the Balenciaga campaign. He was accused of many things, including glorifying pedophilia. He sued for defamation of character and won. It is this situation and subsequent victory in court, Galimberti says, that led Drake to allegedly steal his work 3 years later in the video for What Did I Miss? Galimberti's lawsuit is both serious and unintentionally hilarious because he is clearly disgusted by Drake's alleged attempts to latch on to Galimberti's reputation as a very serious artist. He breaks down the similarities between his work and Drake's video with forensic precision. The guns, the layout, the pool, the roofline, even the place and direction of the sunlight. Galimberti is clearly offended by the idea that Drake tried to align his own reputation issues with the photographer's prior media scandal and subsequent public vindication. Galimberti beat a defamation claim abroad and came out publicly cleared. Drake, on the other hand, filed a defamation suit over lyrics in Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us in the Southern District of New York and got laughed out of court. According to this new lawsuit, Drake intentionally infringed on Galimberti's work in order to connect himself to the expectation that, like Galimberti, he too would be vindicated by the courts. Except he wasn't. His lawsuit was dismissed. Remember, What Did I Miss came out in July 2025. The lawsuit was dismissed just a few weeks ago in October. So Galimberti is saying Drake used these images in July, not just for the aesthetic, but to leech onto Galimberti's history and reputation with the expectation that he, Drake, would be cleared of the Kendrick lyrics and have his reputation restored, just like Galimberti was cleared in his lawsuit over the Balenciaga campaign that featured children. The lawsuit ultimately seeks damages and an injunction that would stop further distribution of the music video in its current form. It focuses on the chain of events, the visual overlap between the works, and the reputational consequences that flowed from the video's release. When read as a whole, the filing tells a story about a photographer who has spent years developing a specific artistic style, who has already endured a wave of false accusations from a different controversy, and who now believes his work has been reused in a way that he does not support and he did not permit. To be fair, this lawsuit seems ridiculous, and people on the internet have been quick to write off Drake's music video as nothing more than a derivative of Galimberti's original work. But as the lawsuit points out, the idea that Galimberti has no claim simply because Drake's video may be considered derivative is an oversimplification of the issue. This is the exact situation laid out in the complaint. Galimberti's complaint explicitly alleges that Drake's team intentionally created an unauthorized derivative of the AMERIGUNS portrait by reproducing the composition, arrangement, spatial geometry, lighting, and subject placement. These elements were not borrowed in a loose stylistic sense. The filing points out that the parallel is specific, not general. It is the difference between inspired and duplicated. In the end, the lawsuit highlights a dynamic that cultural observers will recognize immediately. Galimberti's photographic style is not a generic aesthetic. It's the product of long term documentary work and a deliberate cultural investigation into American culture. The complaint argues that Drake appropriated it outright, lifting the structure and meaning of the original image and inserting it into a completely unrelated commercial narrative. In doing so, Drake's music video treats Galimberti's artistic vocabulary as raw material that can be taken, recontextualized, and displayed at scale without permission. That is the deeper point running beneath the legal claims. The photographer is not only defending his work, he is asserting that his cultural and creative authorship can't be repurposed by Drake simply because it happened to fit the story Drake wanted to tell. And in a month where Drake has already been sued repeatedly, this complaint introduces a different question entirely. It asks whether a global artist with immense reach gets to claim another creator's work, identity, and cultural authority as part of his own narrative. And that brings the title of Drake's video into focus. What Did I Miss has a simple answer here. According to Galimberti, Drake missed the fact that someone else's cultural labor is not his to claim. He missed the history attached to the image he copied. He missed the boundary between influence and appropriation. Most of all, he missed the reality that the original creator is still here, fully aware of what has been allegedly taken, and willing to take that issue to court.